Man hides about lottery from his wife. We all must have bought a lottery ticket once in our life. I mean, who doesn't want easy money? Imagine if you ever win a lottery. What you gonna do with all of your money? Before that, imagine after winning lottery you have to split the money in half with your wife who wants to divorce you because you were broke? Will you give half of your money to your wife? If you ask me, I will say no. Straight no. So let's find out what will happen if this would be true through a story of the movie If I Were a Rich Man, 2019. The movie starts with a broke man named Santi who was sleeping inside his van. Then a police officer named Bagona wakes him up. Then she warns him not to park in front of the port. After that, Santi leaves for his work. He gets there late. Then the port's owner Romulo gives him his last salary and fires him. But before firing him, he makes Santi clean all the bathrooms. He finishes all the work and leaves from there. But on the way, his van runs out of petrol, so he decides to walk away to the nearby petrol pump. Also, a car splashes water of the road on him. He literally himself is the embodiment of the bad luck. His friend Pedro used to work at that petrol pump. When he reaches there, Pedro told him about the class reunion party. In that party, all the classmates are meeting for the first time after college. After talking about all that, he goes to attend a legal meeting with his wife, because his wife Maite wants to divorce him. In the meeting, the lawyer tells that according to the law, they will have to divide all their property and belongings equally. At present, apart from Maite's house and Santi's van, they had nothing much. The lawyer says that it will take around 2 to 3 months to ready the divorce papers, in which Maite gets frustrated because they have to stay with each other till that day. Then when the official works gets over, Mari leaves Santi and goes on her way. Then from nearby, a lottery-selling lady calls him and tried to convince him to buy a lottery ticket, in which he agreed and buys a ticket for the first time in his life and keeps it in his cigarette packet. Then the scene shifts to the night reunion party. Santi also reached there, and at first meet his friends Pedro and Marcos. Then he sees his wife Maite talking with another guy named Mario. Actually, Mario used to very fat in their college days, and due to that Santi and his friends bullied him a lot. But now he has turned into very fit and handsome. Then Maite tells him that Mario is now the boss of the supermarket where she works. After knowing that and seeing some closeness between his wife and Mario, Santi becomes jealous. He then goes back and joins his friends. Also, Santi's friends who were laughing while talking about Mario get stunned after watching him. Then the scene shifts to Maite and her best friend Lorena. Maite tells her that Mario likes her, but she is still confused about divorcing Santi. She was so confused that even she didn't even told her parents about the divorce. After the party, Santi reaches home and throws his cigarette packet to the dustbin. He have totally forgotten about the lottery ticket in it. He then falls asleep on the sofa. Then in the morning, Maite throws all the garbage outside and went to her work. Then Santi wakes up and starts playing the radio in his broken phone and starts bathing. Then comes the news of a man who won 25 million, but his identity is still unknown. Then he suddenly recalls about the lottery ticket he purchased. Then he leaves the bath halfway and runs towards the garbage bin outside in the search of his lottery ticket. Then after searching for a while in the garbage bin, he finds the ticket. He then matches his ticket's number with the winning number. When the numbers match, he starts screaming with joy. He finally won around 25 million through the lottery. He calls Maite to give her the good news, but when she doesn't receive his call, he goes to tell her the news himself to the supermarket in which she works. But in the parking lot, he sees Maite and Mario together in a car. Santi thinks both of them are kissing, but in fact Maite was stopping him to kiss her. Santi becomes sad after seeing all this and leaves from there without telling anything to anyone. But on the way, he sees his lottery ticket and starts laughing in joy. Then he goes to the bank with the lottery ticket in his hand. Seeing the lottery ticket in his hand, the entire bank staff starts staring at him and talking about him. Santi gets nervous and starts leaving the bank. Few people, and the bank manager Damien tries to stop him but couldn't. Santi then starts his van and leaves from the bank area out of nervousness. On the way, he suddenly finds Damien inside his van, who starts following him to give him financial advice. But on the way, the police officer Bagona stops him again and scolds him for not driving properly. But Damien interrupts her and tells her that Santi had won about 25 million, in which she congratulates Santi and leaves. Then Damien takes Santi to a restaurant with him and starts telling about many investment plans. He also tells him that he will not find an expert like him anywhere. Santi believes him and agrees to make him his financial advisor. When Damien came to know about Santi's personal life and divorce, he says if he divorces his wife, then he would have to give her half of his money. He advised Santi to not reveal anything about the lottery to anyone before his divorce, so he could save his money. but Santi doesn't want to hide about the money from his wife. Then suddenly he sees Maite and Mario outside the restaurant, and to keep everything a secret, he wears the restaurant guard's cap and disguises himself. But after seeing his wife's behavior, he decides not to tell anyone about the lottery. Then the scene shifts to the next day. He goes to Mario's office because he had promised Maite that he would give Santi a job. During interview, Mario tries to humiliate him a lot and then gave him job in loading and unloading department of the supermarket. Then the scene shifts to Santi, who is buying expensive clothes for himself. He then buys many expensive items from the money in a mall. He then sees Marcus with his family. That's why he hides in a jewelry shop. When they start to come inside the shop, he asks the workers help. She then sends them back saying there was a problem with the shop. Then he buys a jewelry from there. While driving home, he uses the jewelry bow as his juice stand in the van. After reaching home, he hides all of his stuffs inside the storeroom. Then he throws away all the food items in his fridge and fills the empty food cans with new items of good quality. Then he celebrates everything while dancing. But suddenly Maite reaches there. Before she sees him, he hides his clothes and watch inside sofa. She finds him naked sitting on the sofa. At night he went to have dinner in a high-class restaurant. He finds out a girl named Christina was staring continuously at him. He thinks she was interested in him. After a few days, he goes to surfing with his friends Pedro and Marcus. After surfing, his friend starts to talk about the guy who just won around 25 million in lottery. Then Santi pretends not to know anything. They start saying negative things about him in which Santi could not control and stop them. Then they doubted if he have won the lottery, in which Santi replied, while laughing, that if that would have been true, he wouldn't have been working in the supermarket, an excuse that everyone believes. Then they meet Mario at the beach and find out he is also good at surfing. Everyone gets jealous of his surfing skills. After the beach, they leave, and on the way their van was stopped by the police officer Begona. Santi hides himself behind the back seat because she knows everything about the lottery. She then searches Pedro's bag and gets a packet of nicotine. She pulls all of them out of the van. But after finding out Santi, she talks with all politely and tells him to have fun. Both his friends got confused. Then to avoid confusion, he tells them that the police officer was his cousin. Due to money, Santi changed his whole lifestyle. He wakes up in hotel room in which he stayed the night. He then reaches late to his work. Maite finds him and asks him, where was he last night? To which his tongue slipped and he replied, at the hotel. Obviously his wife didn't take him seriously and says that he can sleep in his van every day if he wanted. Then Mario shows up and makes fun of his surfing skills. He really feels bad from that. Obviously anyone would. If anyone makes fun of someone in front of their wife, they would get mad. Then with the help of Damien, he hires a famous Australian surfer to train him. After practicing for a few days, his surfing skills got better. One day at the beach, Mario sees them together and gets stunned, but didn't do anything. Even at the evening when his friends call him, he refuses to join them for a fancy dinner. Then the next day he takes Damien with him to buy Romolo's, his previous boss's port. He buys the post with high price, but before buying he make Romolo clean all the bathroom. Then one day he comes in front of his friends in suits. His friends asks him, where did he get that? To which he lies that he got the job of testing suits while wearing them. But to change the topic he asks them about themselves, to which both leave him alone because he kept on ignoring them for a few days. That night after having dinner with Damien, he returns home and finds out that Maite's parents have come home. Maite lies them about their life and marriage, but Santi revealed that they are getting divorced and told them all the truth. Then the scene shifts to the bar, where he sees Christina again. He directly approached her this time, but she tells him that she was a business escort and gave him her card and leaves. Then while walking on the street sadly, he sees his friends inside a bar where they used to come together. Then the movie explores Santi's sadness. He gets bored while playing with the expensive drone inside a luxurious hotel room. His eyes express all of his emptiness and sadness inside him. While having so much money, he still feels empty and alone. Then he calls Damien and orders him to work on a new plan. Then the scene shifts to Pedro working on the petrol pump. A lady comes in her car, compliments his looks. Then the scene shifts to the bar, where he was telling to Marcos that he was offered the model job for a sunglasses company. Even the company gave him 1 million as fees. Marcos doesn't believe it at first, but later he did. Santi also reaches there and knowingly sits away from them. But Pedro calls him back and tells him all the news, and both started celebrating. Then the scene shifts to Marcos's house. While he was taking care of his kids, his wife gives him a good news that her auntie, whom he doesn't even know, gave him around 1 million through her will. Then the scene shifts to Damien and Santi while playing golf. Both talked about how Santi gave both of his friends 1 million. Then Damien noticed Mario and told Santi that he came to bank for a loan. He then revealed about Mario's plan to buy the supermarket by framing a loss and firing all employees. Then he goes to supermarket to tell Maite everything about Mario's plan. But he was interrupted by Mario, and situation gets serious between them. Then Maite told him that she can't take care of all that alone, and asks him to pack his bags and leave the house, which obviously again saddens Santi because she didn't even listen to him. He then goes outside the market and finds out his friends on the Marcos' new car. They also take Santi with them and drive faster. Then Santi asked Marcos why he bought a car and wasted his money instead of taking care of his family members' needs. To which he replies that was his money and he can do whatever he wants. Pedro also says that Santi was jealous because he was the only poor among them. Then Santi makes him stop the car and says that he bought the car with his money. Nobody believed him, but by mistake, Marcos jumps the car from the edge, and while falling to the sea, Santi revealed that he was the one who had won the lottery. After the revelation of the truth among his friends, all went to a pub together at night and did party. Everyone was happy after a long time. The scene shifts to Maite's house. She gets a call from Mario in front of Santi, and she starts talking with him. So for mocking her, Santi also calls Cristina and starts talking with her in a quite romantic and seducing way, which successfully made Maite jealous. She even shares this incident to her friend Lorena, to which she replies that she still loves Santi. Then the scene shifts to the supermarket, where Mario gathers the workers and reveals the supermarket is going to close. After getting the news of their loss of job, every worker gets sad, also Maite. After that, Santi invites her for dinner, to which she replies that he will make her spend money for the dinner. After that, Santi also replies that he's not as bad as she thinks he is. Then Santi arranges a candlelight dinner in their house. At dinner they spend quality time with each other. They also get very emotional. Then Santi reveals about the lottery to her, which at first she didn't believe, but after seeing the storeroom she was convinced. Then she gets angry on Santi for not telling her the truth and asks him to leave the house. Then the scene shifts to Marcos' house. Marcos' wife also gets fed up with his extravagance and quarrels with him. Then he goes outside to freshen up his mind. Then the scene shifts to the party, which was arranged by everyone for Pedro's first sunglasses commercial in the pool. Not gonna lie, the commercial was way too funny. The commercial went on trending after the launch, but due to troll comments, Pedro became sad. After that, both Pedro and Marcos blame Santi for ruining their life and leave the party angrily. Then the next day, Santi made some new plans with Damien. Both cry while departure because that was their last meeting. I really think the Damien guy was the only guy on the whole movie who genuinely wanted good for Santi. Then the scene shifts to Maite and her friend's conversation. Her friend tells her that even after divorce, she will get half of Santi's money. After that, Maite gets a message from bank that around 12.5 million, half of the lottery money was deposited in her account. She understands Santi must have done it. After that, she also gets the signed divorced papers by Santi. Lorena told her to sign it and get free from Santi, to which she denied and accepts her love for him. Then she gets a call from the supermarket, which was going to open again. She reached there and finds out that some unknown person had bought the supermarket. She then goes to meet Mario, and after listening his conversation and phone, she come to know of his real plans. She became angry and tells him that Santi was right about him, that he was a liar. But Mario also replies that she was liar, because she still loves Santi. Then Damien reached there and reveals that Mario was fired from his position, and also she was appointed for that position. Maite understands that Santi has done all this for her. Then she asks him where Santi is now. After that, she leaves from the supermarket to meet Santi. Then she meets police officer Bagona outside the supermarket, who imposed some fine on her due to her car parking. She then requests her that she had to go to the airport to stop her husband Santi. After hearing Santi's name, Bagona frees her and also dropped her till the airport. When she reaches airport, she starts searching for Santi. After searching for a long time, she finds him. She went near him and slapped him. Then she hugs him and stopped him, and everything turns normal at the end. Then the scene shifts to a party after 1 year. All Santi's friends and their family were present at the party. Marcos and Lauren are ready for their third child. Pedro also became famous in social media. Everyone knows him as Cool Pedro. At last, Mario is shown who has become fat again, and tables and plates start shaking due to his overweight walk, and the movie ends.